that.
Yeah.
So this week I wanted to talk about what families in South Carolina, what resources are there to look for a preschool. So if you got a little one and they're starting to, you send older ones off and you got to figure out what to do with these, or it's your first time, I thought I'd throw out a few little things to kind of talk about that. First, you want to check for state licensing, and here in South Carolina it's through the Department of Social Services, so DSS. So you want that, certainly, that any daycare you're in has been licensed by the state.
Yeah.
So the next level then is accreditation. It'd be even better to find one that's gone through the additional hoops to be accredited. And the accrediting body, there's several, but the ones that we kind of look at, because at Children's Museum, we work with this group as well as the National Association for the Education of Young Children.
Okay.
So NAEYC.
Okay.
In our world, that's a big deal. But those credentials ensure that a preschool is going to meet rigorous standards for safety, staffing, and the curriculum. So the second thing I would say, after you kind of have identified a list of DSS licensed and accredited daycares in your area, would then to look at their curriculum.
Okay.
And do they offer, you want to see two things in particular, structured and unstructured play in the day. And you can ask the manager of the center for the curriculum and what do they use. And then if they say a name, you can Google that and see if it has some of those things. But you want that structured and unstructured play at the preschool age, because it really does foster the social, emotional, cognitive, and physical development that you want your child to be engaged in. The next thing I would kind of look for is qualified staff with degrees in early childhood education. Obviously, not everybody in a facility might not have one, but you want to see some key folks that have committed to early childhood education. Our two educators on the museum staff are all have degrees in early childhood education. And then you want, if you're going to go the next level on that, is looking for what are the professional development opportunities that your staff have at this daycare center. That kind of will show for you if they're really committed to staying up with the latest research, because the research is moving and we learn new things all the time, and you want to have them incorporating that into their practice. Obviously, the environment should be clean, safe. You definitely want to take a look for that. And I would say stimulating. So adequate outdoor play areas, make sure things in there look well kept and in good shape. The last thing I'd look for is family engagement. Not that it's the least important, I think it's really important, but I would look at that. I think it's crucial because preschools that encourage parent involvement are just going to be stronger because parents care, right? And you want to look for that open communication. So I'd be checking online to see what parents are saying about the facility, get referrals from people that kind of thing. And then one more resource I always like to point out is South Carolina First Steps. If you're not familiar with that organization, they exist statewide. There's local chapters of South Carolina First Steps all throughout the state. It's state funded, and it really does focus and help families with resources for preschoolers.
So, this is the time. Is it the time to register already, or is that
well, preschool you can kind of enter any time.
Okay, cool.
Some of them do have sessions, but mostly you can go in virtually anytime.
Okay, and this is such an important part in our kids' lives, right?
And next week I'm going to talk about some research that's just come out on trauma and early childhood, and you may say, well, my child's not traumatized. Wonderful. But what we're learning about brain development by looking at children that are is just keeps reinforcing how critically important these first years are in the child's education. The brain is wiring up. You really can't expose them to too many different new experiences, taste, sights, sounds, physical movement, all of it. It's the brain is taking it all in. It literally builds the architecture of the brain that serves as the foundation for all learning the rest of our lives.
I still remember my preschool experience and that whole school. I went from nursery school to kindergarten there, and I still remember all my teachers' names, everything. So
okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I drove my son by. He's a little older than you. By one of his former preschools. He was like, no memory whatsoever. But I do know that all that good work they did. They were NAEYC accredited. I remember that. Did really lay lay a good foundation. And so that's what we're finding is in your generation who went through preschool, studies now on people in their 20s and 30s are showing that they are achieving more
See?
than children who don't have a quality preschool experience.
I love that, Karen. This was so helpful for parents out there. Thank you so much.
You're
as
welcome.
always.
Thank you.